So comparing and ordering numbers. So if you compare the square root of 15 and the square root of 25, and then I ask you which one's larger. So make sure you've watched the video that says estimating square roots. So if you think about square root of 15, and you look at those perfect squares, so the square root of 15 is just below the square root of 16, so it's going to be pretty close to 4. It's only 1 away, so I would probably say that it's 3.9. So that's 3.9. And then the square root, sorry, I cannot make a 9. And then the square root of 25 is a perfect square, and the square root of 25 is just 5. So when you compare these two, 25 is larger. But you know that 25 is larger even if you just look. If they're both in a square root, then you know the larger number has the larger answer. So the square root of 25, of course, is the larger number. Okay, so the larger number, square root of 25. So just do what we've been doing. Find what the square root of 15 is, which is 3.9. Find the square root of 25, and it's 5. And you know that this one's larger. Since they're in the same form, you also know that this number is larger than 15. All right, in some cases, they might not be in the same form. So if we have the square root of 15, so the square root of 15, well, we just found that was 3.9. So square root of 15 is, and that symbol that looks kind of like an equal sign, but is a wave, that's approximate. So I'm going to put that on a sticky note. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm just going to write it over here. So that means approximately. So the wave that's kind of like an equal sign but is just wavy means approximately. So the square root of 15 is approximately 3.9. The square root or not the square root, pi is approximately 3.14. So then if we're looking at these two, the larger number, square root of 15, is larger. Okay, a note that I want you to write here: when you give the answer, must be in the same form as question. So I would not want to write, so do not write 3.9. You have to write the original form. So your answer must be in the same form. So that would not be your answer. This would be your answer. Okay. A lot of times when you see these, there's going to be multiple numbers in different forms. So notice there's a square root, there's pi, there's a fraction, and there's a decimal. And then they're going to say put them in order from greatest to smallest. Sometimes they say it the opposite direction, so it might be smallest to greatest. So pay attention to that because it will mess you up and it will be completely wrong. And if it was a multiple choice, they would definitely have the opposite way listed as an answer, just because they want to make sure that you're actually reading the problem carefully. All right, so when you are doing this, and they're all in different forms, put all numbers in same form I prefer decimals. Okay, so let's find what, I'm going to just rewrite them all down here. So square root of 20 pi 14 over 3 and 3.67. Okay, so I'm going to put them all in the same form, and I prefer decimals. So if I have the square root of 20, we know the square root of 20 is between 16 and 25. So it's going to be, it's 4 away from 16 and 5 away from 25. So it's a little bit closer to 4. So I'll say maybe 4.4. Pi is 3.14. 14 thirds. You could divide that by hand if you wanted. So I could do 3 divided by 14. 3 goes into 14. 3 goes into 14 4 times. 3 times 4 is 12. 14 divided by 12 is 2. So then it would be with 2 thirds as my remainder. And hopefully you know what 2 thirds is. It would be 4.67. And then we have 3.67. Since this one and this one are both 4s with decimals, I'm going to check in my calculator. Check in calculator. Just because if I made a minor mistake here with my remainder, I don't want that to be the reason that I miss it. So if I have the square root, so remember hit second, and then that button right there, since the icon is in yellow, you want to use the yellow button. And then I'm going to put 20. And it was 4.47. Okay, so what we estimated it to be was pretty close. And then 14 divided by 3 is 4.666667. But if I wanted to just put 2 decimals and I wanted to round, this 6 would make it round up to a 7. Or this 6 would make that round up to a 7. So both of those were correct. Okay, so now I'm going to order them. Notice they're all in the same order, the same form now. So the small, it says from greatest, remember greatest, so I want to pick the largest number first. So if you were thinking about money, think about money. So which of these would be the greatest amount of money? So it would definitely be 4.67. So 4.67 would be first. Then it would be 4.47. And then the next largest would be 3.67. And then the fourth would be 3.14. Now, remember this thing up here. Your answer has to be in the same form as the question. So you can't, this is not the final answer. You would have to write it in the same form. So 4.67 was actually 14 thirds. 4.47 was the square root of 20. 3.67 was 3.67. And then 3.14, the original form, was pi. So this is your answer. So I just rewrote each one back in the original form. Right answer in original form. Okay, so that would be how to compare and order numbers.